There are many things you can do to make that person's journey a little less painful.
Elizabeth Hurley is here, and she's sharing all she knows about breast cancer awareness. And we've got the stories that define the week on People in 10. I'm Angela Lansbury, bringing you everything you need to know about pop culture right now. We've got 10 minutes, so let's dive right in with the first 5. Starting with all of the social media tributes that have poured in for Tony Award-winning actress Angela Lansbury, who died peacefully in her sleep at home early Tuesday morning at the age of 96. Known for roles in Murder, She Wrote,
It reminded me of something that I'd noticed at the murder scene.
Bedknobs and Broomsticks, and the 1991 animated film Beauty and the Beast.
Cheer up, child. It'll turn out all right in the end.
Lansbury is being remembered for her beautiful legacy and contribution to the arts. And as Blake Shelton is saying goodbye to The Voice,
I would be honored to be that coach for you.
Announcing on Instagram that season 23 will be his last, Kaley Cuoco is saying hello to motherhood. The actress revealed that she and boyfriend Tom Pelphrey are expecting a baby girl next year. She shares that she feels beyond blessed and is over the moon. This as Gisele Bündchen seemingly throws shade at Tom Brady. The supermodel weighed in on this Instagram post about being in inconsistent relationships, commenting with a simple prayer emoji. Moving on to a story you've been following closely on People.com.
Anne Heche's ex, James Tupper, and their 13-year-old son, Atlas, reported to court this week over their ongoing estate dispute with Anne's eldest son, Homer.
They are battling over who will control the late actress's assets and be appointed Atlas's guardian ad litem.
Tupper's lawyer argued that Homer hasn't been communicating with Atlas over the estate and hasn't been treating him well.
He also claimed that Homer doesn't have the proper qualifications.
This seemingly didn't sit well with the judge, who noted that in California, if you can read, you can be an administrator of an estate. He added that just because he may be a Generation Z or a chill guy, that doesn't disqualify him.
The judge added that the court is there to rule on qualifications, not if someone is the best person.
This led to Tupper shaking his head, which infuriated the judge. He called Tupper very disrespectful and told him not to shake his head again. He also instructed him to take his hands out of his pocket.
Moving on to this week's big announcement from Buckingham Palace.
We have a date for King Charles III's coronation. It is set to be May 6th of 2023, his grandson Archie's birthday.
For the occasion, Queen Camilla will take her place beside her husband.
She will be the first queen consort crowned in Westminster in nearly a century.
Meanwhile, Prince Harry honored this year's Well Child Award winners and even shared an update on his children.
Archie is very, very busy, and Lily is learning to use her voice, which is great.
Also this week, Meghan Markle opened up about how Harry helped her in a time of need.
At my worst point, being finally connected to someone that, my husband had found a referral for me to call.
And back in England, Prince William and Kate Middleton are settling into their Windsor home and stepping up amid this new royal era.
A family friend tells People in this week's cover story that theirs is a life of a modern royal family doing normal things.
In our other People cover story this week, Christopher Meloni is opening up on being a zaddy.
It's great. Are you kidding me? I'm 61 years old, and zaddy, and it's very sweet and welcoming, and again, the lucky streak continues, I guess.
The actor tells People that he loves working out. He recently did a Peloton ad, which merged his passion for working out and another love of his.
Apparently, some people think the way I work out is strange. Honestly, I don't get it.
I am a big fan of nudity. I always have been, always, since a child. And I think it's a sense of freedom. It's really, we're a little uptight in this country over that whole thing. How many nudist beaches do we have? Who doesn't like a good nudist beach? I love them.
This week, we're continuing to recognize Breast Cancer Awareness Month and the many celebs who have opened up about their own diagnoses.
I have stage 3 breast cancer.
Actress Miranda McKeon, who was first diagnosed with breast cancer in June of 2021, recently opened up to People about regaining some sense of bodily autonomy after undergoing treatment.
I'm healing really well, super happy with how I look.
The 20-year-old and with an E alum underwent 8 rounds of chemotherapy, a double mastectomy, 25 radiation sessions, and froze her eggs. She admits that it's been a challenge adjusting to her new normal, but becoming comfortable with the body she has now has been an empowering journey for her.
I'm not a little girl anymore, and I believe that's noticeable.
McKeon has been in remission since February, and 3 months after finishing chemotherapy, she made the decision to get breast reconstruction, which she says helped her look and feel more like herself. McKeon is now hoping to raise awareness for other breast cancer survivors, specifically those at a young age like herself. It's so inspiring to hear from her. Now, let's move on to some screen time. I'm so excited to be joined now by Elizabeth Hurley, who has been a global ambassador for Estee Lauder's breast cancer awareness campaign for over 2 decades.
30 years, one mission, to help create a breast cancer-free world for all.
Thank you so much for joining me. I'm gonna ask you 5 questions. For question number 1, you have to give me 1 answer. For question number 2, you have to give me 2 answers, and so on. Let's get started. First up, this year marks the 30th anniversary of the famous pink ribbon, which so many of us know what that symbolizes. What is one memory that comes to mind when you think about your time with the campaign?
The first time a woman came up to me and said, I got screened or self-checked because I saw your messaging. And then we know we've been part of saving lives.
The first time that you got screened, it was actually Estee Lauder's daughter-in-law, Evelyn Lauder, who was a friend of yours. She was responsible for your first ever mammogram. So how did that come about?
Well, she started the Breast Cancer Research Foundation and the Estee Lauder Company's breast cancer campaign 30 years ago. And I joined her 27 years ago. So I was with her most of the time. Sadly, she's not with us anymore. But she was a pioneer and a fantastic woman, and she was adamant. She was spreading the message since the early 90s that women needed to get tested regularly.
In addition to being a global ambassador, you're also an actress and a model, and you spend a lot of time traveling away from home. What are 2 things that you miss while you're away from home?
Family and dogs. Easy. I've got 4 dogs at the moment. I've got 3 working Cocker Spaniels and 1 Labrador. And at home, I have my sister and my mother and my son, obviously. So I miss them all a lot when I go away.
That leads me right into number 3. We all know that you're a super proud mom. So what are 3 things that you love doing with your son, Damien?
We watch movies together. During lockdown, I decided to show him different sets of movies. We watched a lot of international movies, a lot of, original version movies. We also get really into box sets together. We did the Ozarks, Breaking Bads, all the things that I thought he needed to see. I showed him the Godfather movies he'd never seen.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
Various Scorsese movies he'd never seen. So I'd say movie watching is a big part of our downtime together.
Do you ever sit down and watch some of your own work with him?
No, he watches my own stuff. The funny thing is, I've never really watched myself. And when my movies came out, I never watched them. But funnily enough, the ones that were a long time ago, I actually can watch them now because it's like a different person.
Mr. Powers, my job is to acclimatise you to the 90s. You know, a lot's changed since 1967.
No doubt, though.
I taught him to cook during lockdown, so we now cook together. He makes great cakes and great desserts. And we read together too. We read and we write together. So we often sit at opposite sides of the table and we bounce ideas across each other, and he helps my writing. I hope I help his, not hinder.
We mentioned that you're an actress and a model, but you're also a bathing suit designer. It's so important with a hectic schedule to take care of yourself mentally and physically. What are 4 ways that you practice self-love?
Well, I spend a lot of time outdoors as much as I can with my dogs or out doing the gardening. Then I always say read. I'm a huge reader, too much. I probably waste way too much time reading. I hate to say, but sometimes I just have to make myself go and tidy up because I'm not very tidy by nature. In fact, I'm horrible. And 4th, I just like to find a friend or a family member to sit and laugh with.
And finally, what are 5 takeaways that people should have from Breast Cancer Awareness Month?
First, I'd really like them to know that breast cancer, if caught early, is 90% curable. They should know that mortality rates have decreased by 43% since the 1980s. I'd like people to know that they can help raise funds for breast cancer research. We've raised $108 million as part of our campaign, most of which has gone to research, others gone to education on different medical services. People could duet with me on TikTok. I go on TikTok and I draw a pink ribbon on my hand with a pink lipstick. If people do that next to me, the Estee Lauder companies will donate $30 per duet. I'd also like people to know that when there are people that are suffering around them, maybe somebody who's been diagnosed, or maybe their friend's mother's been diagnosed, or somebody, that there are many things you can do to make that person's journey a little less painful.
Liz, thank you so much for joining me. Everyone, to learn more about Breast Cancer Awareness Month and the 30th anniversary of the Pink Ribbon, visit Estee Lauder Company's website at elcompanies.com. All right, time's up. See you next Thursday.